On this edition of Eternal Conversations, we have Crown Light. He is a philosopher, artist, deep thinker, and spiritualist. So why monotheism?
So we started talking about this earlier. Monotheism, basically, from my perspective, is just acknowledging that there is a head to the pyramid. It's kind of like that. The way I kind of see God is kind of like a shapeshifter, meaning God is everything and everyone. However, God, I think, also has varying forms and shapes of it that could be considered separate entities in and of themselves, so they're not actually separate. So with that being said, it's not, I mean, polytheism, as we were talking about earlier, with like everything being God, it's like, I believe that to be completely true. Everything is. Like, however, I don't think everything is just some random occurrence within God, and, this is just all kind of like a fractal pattern that's happening. I think, it might be a fractal pattern that's happening, but I don't think it's just all random. I think that there is definitely a consciousness within the all of everything that is shaping, moving, and manipulating things in order to help the story along, or to help everyone's story along. Like, I think the consciousness that is within me and the consciousness that is within you are both two of the same aspects of that one God. It's that conscious part of God that is seeing. So God is seeing through me, and God is seeing through you. So it's like when you get to monotheism, it's not like I'm believing that there's like one big man in the sky with his notebook going, yes, you. Yes, this is how I see you, and I'm judging you. And this is, now you are judged because of these things. No, it's like, it's a much more active role in existence than that. It's not just like someone who's like, yes, heaven with all my wonderful women and men and whatever it is I want, and I want an ice cream cone. Yes, ice cream. It's like, I don't think that's not what it means to me. What it means to me is like, God is just an overarching consciousness. Like if you were to say, put all of consciousness together, like your consciousness and my consciousness and the consciousness within all things, and bring it all together into one consciousness. Like bring all the experiences of all things beyond space and time together into one consciousness. And then bring, in addition to that, the creator and the creation itself, the entire game of all of life and all of existence and all of creation, and take that and bring it next to that. At this point, then you have two aspects of God. You have consciousness, which is the observable mind, and you have creation, which is, Shakti. So when you talk about Hindu philosophy, you basically have Shiva Shakti at that point, which is the observer, the one who observes, the penetrator, the one that penetrates awareness into all things, the thing that is observing. So the part of you that is observing is this. The part of me that is observing is this. And you have Shakti, which is the energy of observation. It's the feminine aspect of God. So the awareness is the masculine aspect. And then you have Shakti, which is the feminine aspect, which is also the energy of God. It is literally the energy of God. It is the creation. All that is around you, that is the not consciousness, that doesn't have the consciousness in it, that is the energy of God, and that is Shakti, and that is actually existing for the pleasure of consciousness. For without consciousness, it would not exist. There would not be any, there would be the energy, nothing. There would be nothing. There would be no awareness of anything, and without awareness of anything, there's nothing. So the energy of God is actually existing for the pleasure of God. So the Shakti is existing for the pleasure of awareness. The energy is existing for the pleasure of awareness. And you can actually take these two things and combine them, and that's when you get the solid entity, which is God itself, which is both awareness and creation existing at the same time within the same entity. And we all have this within each one of us. We all have the creative aspect, and we also all have consciousness. So with that being said, if you wanted to go into a polytheism, we're all gods, technically, in that we share in the fact that we have the ability to create and we have the ability to be aware. However, there are greater aspects of this, and you can say that there's a greater aspect even of yourself that is essentially, like, not even like, I drew a diagram of this essentially for someone the other day with the conscious mind and then the subconscious mind and the unconscious mind, and then you know, the greater unconscious mind, and then like, you know, the greater unconscious mind, and how like, you know, human consciousness is like somewhere seated in the unconsciousness over here, and then you have like cow consciousness is somewhere seated in the consciousness over here, and then insect consciousness is in this little universe over here, and it's like planets within galaxies within the universe of consciousness. But if you were to take that whole thing and expand it and expand yourself out beyond your own consciousness, that is just Damon McGregor. Expand your consciousness into the consciousness that's Damon McGregor and your whole family, and Damon McGregor and all human beings, and then Damon McGregor and all mammals, and like how you are connected to all of those things and all of the experiences you can relate to. And then there's all Damon McGregor, all humans, all mammals, and then all insects. Then Damon McGregor, all humans, all mammals, all insects, and all life on planet Earth. And then that, you know, that itself, if you continue to expand yourself more and more and more, you're not separating yourself from it. You're just getting into greater levels of your own being. And then if you expand that all the way out, and you keep going all the way out to ultimately your crown chakra, which is where you connect with the universe, you know, like that one Alex Gray picture we were just looking at with the mind exploding and galaxies everywhere.
Mm-hmm.
If you expand that all the way out, that's when you connect with the source of all that is.